Welcome back to the Simpit. We are here today to cover iRacing's 2024. It's not even 2024 yet. It is still 2023, but this is the Season 1 build for iRacing, and there are a whole bunch of new updates. We're talking new car, new tracks, a whole bunch of updates to the sim itself. But the elephant in the room would be probably what's not there, and that being rain. We're not going to see rain. We thought for sure we are going to have rain, and I'm actually one of the people who, that's fine by me. I'll keep spring and these dry racing conditions for another season. That'll make me happy. I don't think rain's going to make the racing any better. So we're still waiting on that. But what are we looking at? I think my favorite thing in this new build has got to be the addition of a track that I have to go to every sim in the world to play. I can go to Forza, I can go to Assetto Corsa, but I can't do it in iRacing. That is until last week. That being Autodromo, I'm going to say it wrong, I'm just going to say it American style. Autodromo International de Mugello. This is the track that is actually owned by Ferrari. So Ferrari, the company Ferrari, owns this racetrack, but that doesn't mean it's a private track. Just kind of private. It's tucked away in Tuscany. It's embedded into the hills in a very, very cool layout that goes amongst the natural topography of the region, which is awesome. And it is very historic. This was actually a street racing circuit that dates back to like the 20s and some of the most famous Italian racing of the era until it was a real racetrack in 1973. Mugello is a 15-turn track. That is in the Grand Prix configuration. It also comes in a shorter version. I don't know the exact corner count, but it's shorter than 15 turns. It is 5.2 kilometers, a little over 3.2 miles long, so it is a fairly lengthy track. And in like a GT3 car, you're looking at slightly under 2-minute lap times. Now, Mugello, I mentioned, this is one of my favorite tracks. And the reason, and it's probably the reason Ferrari loves it as a test track so much, you've got a great variety of corners. You've got chicanes, slow speed, medium speed, high speed chicanes. You've got full 180s. You've got a lot of off-camber corners that really test the gripping boundaries of any car that you're driving in. And those long corners require a lot of patience. And then my favorite thing of all, extremely long straightaways, which just make for great braking zone passing opportunities, like going into one right after you've gone past the grandstands. And then on the oval side of things, you've got Slinger Speedway. This is a quarter-mile oval that dates back to 1948, and it's in Wisconsin. It goes by the nickname the world's fastest quarter-mile oval, and you wouldn't believe how fast cars go around this place. The world record is actually under 10 seconds. You're talking a quarter mile in under 10. That's talking like dragster kind of times, but we are talking a conventional oval, your typical Americana Friday night under the lights oval, and it is a fun track to drive. You are talking some of the heaviest banking that I've ever seen, almost like you're at Daytona, but shrunk down into a quarter-mile toilet bowl, it almost feels like at times. But you are flying into those corners and getting all kinds of grip with that banking, and that's what results in those incredible lap times. Slinger Speedway is also known for one of their big events, that being the Slinger Nationals, which they have every year. And when you look at the list of winners, or for that matter, people who've entered this race, you're talking every single famous NASCAR driver at some point has found themselves at this little tiny track in Wisconsin. So again, it is an institution or an iconic structure in the world of racing in America. And what would a Friday night short track in America be without some extra shenanigans? So it isn't just the oval layout, but you've also got the crisscross paved in the middle for some crazy figure eight racing. Do you want to call that racing? I'm going to call it figure eight crashing is what it ends up being, but it's certainly there for the fun. Now, not new to the service, so it's not going to set you back any money, is the fully updated Ookiyama circuit. So it's got a full artwork update, which I haven't driven this one myself just yet, but I think that means all new billboards. Maybe if they painted some walls or buildings, we've seen those changes as well. And on top of that, you've got the new 3D curbing that has been added to not only Ookiyama, but also Mugello. So it is Mugello, the new track, and Ookiyama with the new artwork update that have this new feature, the 3D curbing, as well as the new 3D foliage, which is also on Lime Rock and Virginia International Raceway as well. That takes care of the tracks on iRacing, but we're also seeing a new car. So get ready for another GT3 car. I say another because this is now the 8th modern GT3 car in iRacing. This time it's the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 GT3. This new Audi GT3, it is the new V10, which actually sounds really awesome. Produces a mind-whopping 585 horsepower tucked into a car that only weighs 2,700 pounds. So it is very fast. It's going to break that 2-minute barrier easily at Mugello, and it is going to be pretty fast in every other track. And I know what you're saying, a new car in iRacing, great. More money, but keep in mind, when it comes to multi-car class racing, you only need to own one. So if you already have one of the other 8 cars available in GT3 class, you don't have to buy the Audi, you'll just be competing against it, and it's 585 horsepower. I found the car to be really fun to drive. It's got that typical mid-engine feel, so it's a really well-balanced car until you've gone too far, and it starts with a little bit of that 4-wheel drift, and then it'll finally go around on you when you really make big mistakes. But it is a good fast-driving car, and it will make a great addition to that lineup of GT3 cars since Audi wasn't represented. And I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things in racing is multi-marquee racing. So when you look at the GT3 class, and you could be talking Lamborghinis, Audis, Ferraris, McLarens, even the dated old Ford GT, but they all get to race against each other, and you can root for your favorite marquee, and that just makes it that much more fun.
Enough with the Lambo, man. Lambo. Just talk to me, dog. Hey. She wanna hit.
Normally, when it comes to all the details or the sim-related updates itself, I usually just kind of refer you to the patch notes so you can look at all the variety of changes. Maybe it's tires, maybe it's physics, whatnot. In this case, we are talking about phase 1 of the iRacing Asphalt Oval Refresh project, which is now underway or up and implemented. We're talking about a much more active track when it comes to oval racing in particular. So you're talking about weather changes, you're talking about where the cars and how many cars are running, playing a role and affecting the performance of your grip levels, your tires, and your machine on asphalt ovals in particular. So this is something iRacing's been putting a lot of work into, and we're finally seeing it implemented. And I can't wait to get some feedback from some guys who spend a lot of time on the ovals so they can let me know how it really plays out. In addition to the update there, they've also made an adjustment to safety rating. So while ovals were always treated 2 corners per lap, now they're counted as 4 corners per lap. And that's going to be a much more approachable or a better way of counting safety rating when it comes to oval racing. I always thought it was kind of a ripoff. Only 2 corners per lap when I'm trying to recover SR. It takes a lot of laps to make back points that you've lost in a big wreck. So this should even things out quite a bit and make it a little bit more fair for the oval guys compared to the road guys when you've got like things like 15 turns per track at Mugello, for example. So as you've seen, this update had a little bit of everything as far as content goes for oval guys, road guys. You've got a new car. You've got a lot of cool things in this. But of course, the big thing missing is rain. So I guess we're going to have to wait for spring for the rain instead of the winter. Doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm not really that thrilled for rain. I prefer my dry racing anyway. So other things that I didn't get into, and again, it's all covered in the patch notes, which you'll find within the iRacing Fortress. You got to be a member to get into their forum, but if you were, you could find the patch notes in there, and it'll tell you every detail, every physics change, tire model change, and whatnot. But some of the bigs are definitely the damage models. So you've got 16 new cars that have new damage model or improved damage model. That's really cool. You've got 2 new cars that have AI racing available, as well as 8 tracks with AI racing configuration set up for them. So ever expanding the list of cars that you can race against the computer on, which is always nice and makes it for those who don't want to do the serious racing or want to practice in racing conditions. That's always a great feature as well. So I hope you like some of the updates. I hope this tells you everything that you need to know about what iRacing has going on for 2024 Season 1. We'll look forward to Season 2. Might be a little bit wetter, but that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can find out when our next video comes out. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you like what we're doing, and thank you for watching. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.